Good morning, Washington, Baltimore, and all the ships at sea. Welcome to Dave TV for the 14th of November, Wednesday, 2012. So yesterday evening, I come home from a busy day. I'm out doing lots of things, and I come on and turn on my television set to watch Chris Matthews. I religiously watch him 5 to 6 o'clock every night, and it just says no signal. And I got the cable, I got I got my Comcast DVR down there, as you can see. There it is, the reconditioned DVR that they put in last summer after the old one conked out. But anyhow, so I don't know. I must have spent 45 minutes on the phone with the Comcast techie dude, unplugging cables and rebooting the box and waiting and watching little error messages come up on the screen and nothing worked. I was getting a signal, but there was no video coming through. So he was very nice about it and said, well, we'll send out a techie dude on Thursday, tomorrow, to fix this, get you a new box or whatever. And that's fine. So then I hung up the phone and I came back and checked the TV about 20 minutes later, and voila, it's all working again. So I don't know. Comcast does this thing where at night, in the middle of the night, they will send software updates to these boxes. And with some of these DVRs, man, the software updates don't take. And so you have corrupted software on your box the next morning. And then you don't find out about it till that evening when you turn your TV on and it doesn't work. And then they have to reload software to the boxes, and it's a mess. But this is not the first time that's happened. Now, I have a feeling they were doing a software download the other night, because I noticed when I was in my bedroom, I have a box in there, but it's not a DVR, that the box turned off and then turned back on. And usually when it does stuff like that, they're doing some kind of software download. So I don't know. The mysteries of Comcast. My God, though, when you call Comcast's, good Lord, when you call them up, the phone, you got to punch 800,000 buttons to get somebody, all these automated menus and this and that and that and that. And then there's one where you just want to talk to a service advisor, and you got to get this, would you like to order the so-and-so fight this weekend on Comcast in demand? And it's like, press 1 for you. I don't want to order a damn fight for $50. I want to talk to a service advisor. Man. So what's the big news this week? Today, yesterday, whatever. The big news, Mike O'Mara back on the radio. We're hearing, got the official announcement. I run ads for WTNT Metro Radio. They're a loyal advertiser. They've been on our website for a while now. And the guy who runs it over there is Bruce Houston, a really cool guy. I like Bruce a lot. And what I like about Metro Radio is it's local. It's really locally owned, locally programmed radio. They own a couple stations around here, WTNT, and they own a I can't remember the call letters. It's 1460 in Manassas, which runs Spanish. But it's a nice little company, and it's nice because it's all local. You can call the guy up and chat with him and everything else. And a while back, he was just picking my brains one day and said, "What? We have some free time on the station. What should we do with it?" And I said, "Don and Mike." I said, "Wow, if you could bring Don and Mike back to Washington or get them back on the air, I think that would be a killer show." And, he probably probed around, and I even sent him Mike O'Mara's email, phone number. And after some negotiations, they at least got Mike. So it looks like Mike's back on the radio. Come mid-January, he'll be on WTNT, which is 7:30 a.m. Not a great signal at night. 7:30 a.m. is a good signal during the day. They cover Baltimore down to halfway down the Chesapeake Bay during the day. But at night, yeah, it's a dinky little signal. But they do have 102.9, which is a brand new, started about a year ago. Wasn't maybe half a year ago. They started a 102.9 signal, which is basically based out of Fairfax County. Okay, transmitter just south of Fairfax City, and it covers a good chunk of Northern Virginia. I can get it here in Reston, no problem. Now, getting it over in Maryland, yeah, I don't know if it's gonna. The signal for 102.9 gets over into Maryland much, and D.C. might be a little problematic, but Northern Virginia, Fairfax County, good to go. So Mike will be doing his show from 7 to 9 with Buzz Burbank and Rob Spiewak and Oscar Santana. And it'll be interesting to see how that goes. I think it'll be cool. Hopefully he'll get a little ratings traction from it, and maybe somebody will say, hey, maybe we'll put it on a better signal. I don't know. It's sad. I always thought Mike O'Meara is one of the greats in radio, and it's a shame that he's not on somewhere on that dial. You know, all the awful people that are on talk radio these days, all the hacks and crapolas and bullshitters, and then you got a really good guy like Mike. And it's, you know, I just say to myself, this guy deserves to be back on the radio somewhere. And it's a shame that he hasn't been. He was back on 105.9 The Edge there for a while before the plug got pulled on that a year ago last fall, where they put WMAL on a signal. But it's good to see Mike at least coming back. Hopefully everything will work out and we'll get, you know, and maybe, honestly, maybe they should move Mike into the, you know, evening drive slot. You know, yeah, evenings 7 to 9 is kind of a little bit of a Wayland slot. If they could move him up to, say, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, a little more of the Don and Mike traditional time slot, that might be really cool. So, you know, it's a good sign that he's back on the radio, and hopefully we'll maybe get him in a better time slot come later in 2013. Before as we're all going down the fiscal cliff, we can at least listen to Mike. Other big news, Marcus Brauchli is out as the executive editor of the Washington Post. So what? You know, reading the condolences in the paper today, and you know, they only suffered a 20% print circulation drop during his tenure. What's that? 1 out of 5 subscribers left the paper during his tenure. Hey, way to go. Tony Kornheiser often complains about the Washington Post as being the Wall Street Post, and I think his criticism really touches a nerve there. The Post is trying desperately to be more and more of a national news player, national news webs. It just seems like it, less and less local news, more and more of a national news, competing with stuff like the Huffington Post and the Drudge Report and the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times, you know, a national news stage, and they're and it seems like coverage of the local coverage, like media stuff, they almost don't do any more local media coverage at all, where they used to do a lot of it with people like John Carmody. You know, and there be, you know, so the print paper, which is local, is going down the tubes because people are saying I'm not getting much local in it anymore. I don't know. The paper still doesn't quite know what it's trying to do. You know, sure, they could be a national website and go compete with everything else, but, you know, why even call themselves the Washington Post anymore? You know, Politico now, you know, probably does a better job in many respects covering political news in Washington than the Post does. You know, that was a huge gaffe for the Post there, letting that happen. I don't know, you know, unless the Post, you know, they need to make some significant changes to that print paper. They really do. Better design. They need to get more local in it. It needs, you know, maybe, as I've said, I think maybe even it needs to become a tabloid. You know, I just look at it now and it just looks kind of has-been. It looks like a has-been paper. For broadsheet, it doesn't look crisp and with it. It looks yesterday. The whole print paper says yesterday, meaning backwards going. Although maybe going back to yesterday might be a better thing. Bring back Tom Shales and Howie Kurtz. Ratings trends. These ratings that came out yesterday were not for Hurricane Sandy. They were a couple days before Hurricane Sandy hit. So we won't see the effects of Hurricane Sandy in the ratings till the next ratings, which come out next week. And we should see WTOP go way up to the top of that one, I would think, and maybe a surge for WNEW, hopefully. If they don't have a surge, something's wrong there. But, you know, the radio ratings, just looking at, you know, what I'm seeing, you know, Hot 99.5 up at the top. These are the money demo, H2554, HUR second, TOP third, WAMU fourth, WASH fifth, KYS sixth, MMJ seventh. WID Fresh 94.7 is doing much better all of a sudden. I don't know why. They're eighth. Quite a bit ahead of Mix 107.3. Ha ha. PGC 9th, WWDC DC 101 10th. MAL. Now you look at MAL in the money demo and they're 19th. Okay? But you look at MAL in the 6+ ratings, and they're like 9th or something like that. You know, they're in the top 10. Well, I guess with all the political news going on for, that part of late October. But it's an interesting dichotomy there to say, hey, they're in the top 10 now in the 6+, but when you look at the numbers that cut off everybody after 54, they're 19th, meaning they skew very, very old. So poor old Cumulus has got a station that skews very, very old, and they got a station that's getting the poop kicked out of it by Hot 99.5 and Fresh 94.7 and a meaty Mix 107.3. So Cumulus has a lot of things to fix here in Washington, and they better do it quick. All right, folks, that's Dave TV for the 14th of November, 2012. Thanks for watching. And I guess I'll have to call and cancel that Comcast tech for tomorrow. But I'm gonna wait and make sure this thing is still working. Honestly, do I need all this cable? I'll tell you, man. All these cable networks are sucking. There's very little I watch anymore, except, of course, for Morning Joe. Of course, Morning Joe's not there this morning, but I watch that. I can't listen to MAL anymore. I just can't. It's just too awful. Ugh. I like political news in the morning, but, it's just bad. Ugh. Ugh. So I'm on Morning Joe now. So there. Live long and prosper. Book 'em, Dano.